Thank you all. Have a nice night.
Thank you.
Okay.
The question is whether or not there was this could have been moved quicker. You know, the question you always on every single thing, why didn't you act sooner? Well, I don't think anyone anticipated the impact of the shutdown of one facility in the Abbott facility. And it was accurately shut down because the formula was questioned in terms of its purity. And so once we learned of the extent of it and how broad it was, we kicked everything into gear. And I think we're on the way to be able to completely solve the problem. But
They knew it immediately.
Didn't the CEOs just tell you that they understood it would have a very big impact?
they did, but I didn't.
Should the FDA have been more aware of that when they took months to conduct the inspection, to interview people at this plant after the complaints were made, and then only shuttered it in February?
Well, the real problem occurred when it got shuttered. So you're saying they should have anticipated it would be shuttered. The answer is, well, here's the deal. I became aware of this problem sometime after April, in early April, about how intense it was. And so we did everything in our power from that point on, and that's all I can tell you right now. And we're going to continue to do it till we get the job.
What about that facility? Is it going to be open on Saturday? Mr. President, on another topic, gas prices. When are gas prices going to start coming down? Record high today.
It's a record high. It could be higher, but we're able to keep it from going higher. But look, there's a lot to do. We're in a situation where, you know, because of a war in Ukraine, gas prices and food prices are extremely high. For example, we got millions of tons of wheat that is not able to get out and get to market. It's causing everything from a loaf of bread to cost so much money to food shortages all across the world. And so we're trying to work through, you know, a war. We're trying to work through how we can get that harbor opened and get the, you know, tens of thousands of tons of grain that are there. The same with gasoline. You have the issue that's occurring now is you have Europe deciding that they're going to further curtail the purchase of Russian oil. And there's a whole lot of consideration going on about what can be done to maybe even purchase the oil, but at a limited price, so that it has to be sold. There'd be an overwhelming need for the Russians to sell it, and it would be sold at a significantly lower price than the market is generating now. There's a lot going on right now, but the idea we're going to be able to, you know, click a switch, bring down the cost of gasoline is not likely in the near term, nor is it with regard to food. But here's one thing we can do. Look, I'll talk about this a little bit tomorrow, and I'm going to stop. One of the things that happens when you talk about gas prices, the cost of a gallon of gasoline, or the price of a loaf of bread, there are things that affect families and their everyday budget. You know, their standard of living are affected by that. They have X amount of dollars they make, and although, thank God, employment is up and wages are up, notwithstanding that, inflation is running at a higher rate. And they have all these needs and concerns. There's more than one way to maintain the standard of living for people, in the sense that the overall out-of-pocket money needed to be able to make sure that they're able to get through all their needs on a monthly basis. You can compensate. You can compensate, for example, by having drug prices drop significantly, or impact on child care, or impact. The bottom line is the bottom line, how much it costs you to maintain your household and your standard of living. And we can't take immediate action that I'm aware of yet to figure out how we bring down the price of gasoline back to $3 a gallon. And we can't do that immediately with regard to food prices either. But we can compensate by providing for other necessary costs for families by bringing those down. That reduces the inflation for that family. And we can do that. We can do that at the same time by increasing the tax rate that should go up on some corporations that are paying no taxes at all, pay a minimum tax, and the very wealthy. No one under 400 grand would have to pay another single penny in taxes, but it would not be inflationary. It would help pay for, reduce the deficit even further, and it would provide relief for families. But I'll talk more about that later. Thank you very much.
On legislation, sir.
I served in Congress for 36 years. I'm never confident. Totally. It depends. And I don't know. I've not been on the negotiations that are going on right now.
Okay,
Thank you.